The Galactic Council chamber, an enormous crystalline hall orbiting the blue-white star Ravis, rarely fell silent. It usually hummed with the layered voices of 73 member species, each arguing, advising, or demanding. But on this day, the chamber echoed only with the faint resonance of starlight refracting through its walls. Every delegate watched the holographic sphere at the center of the room. Inside it, a war raged. A dark swarm of biomechanical ships, the Vyr, spread like a stain across the Orion spur. They were relentless, silent, emotionless, driven by a hive intelligence that adapted, evolved, and consumed. Worlds fell in days, fleets disintegrated in hours. For the first time in 5,000 years, the Council itself trembled. The hologram shifted to a world at the edge of Council territory, Antara-4, a human colony. Smoke billowed over forests. Vyr dropships pierced the atmosphere like black needles. The Antaran defense grid flickered, then died. A whisper broke the silence. They have landed. Chancellor Velthari, a towering Amrathi with translucent skin, turned her gaze toward the human delegation. Ambassador Rennick, she said, voice steady but strained. Your world stands as the final barrier between the Vyr and the Council's core systems. We advised evacuation. Yet you refused. Why? Ambassador Rennick, short, broad-shouldered, unmistakably human, did not flinch. Because Antara 4 is not undefended, he said. We see no fleets, argued a Dothan general. Rennick leaned forward. You are looking for ships. You should be looking for soldiers. A murmur rippled through the hall. Soldiers? The Council had long grown reliant on automated fleets, drone armies, and tactical AI. Physical soldiers, organic soldiers, were now considered primitive, expensive, and inefficient. Velthari frowned. Explain. Rennick tapped a command into his console. A new hologram bloomed, a human military insignia the Council had not seen in centuries. Earth? Special Operations Legion, 7th Terran Division. The chamber erupted with questions and disbelief. They were disbanded. That unit was thought extinct during the refugee wars. Humans no longer field ground armies. Ambassador Rennick let them speak. Only when the uproar faded did he say, the Legion never disbanded. They simply went quiet. Explain quiet, demanded Velthari. After the Council outlawed psionic augmentation, most advanced species halted human-style biological enhancement, Rennick said. But humanity continued research in secret, with volunteers who understood the risks. They trained on uncharted worlds, far from your eyes. They fought privateer fleets, abyssal predators, and rogue AIs. They pushed their bodies and minds beyond any documented thresholds. They became different. Velthari felt unease ripple through her. Different how? Rennick nodded once. You're about to see, beginning, the soldiers of old Earth. On Antara-4's surface, smoke rolled across the shattered remains of defense perimeter south. The scent of burning metal mixed with the tang of ionized air. The Vyr advanced in near-perfect silence, their limbs clicking rhythmically, their armor shifting like molten stone. They were machines but alive, a paradox designed for war. Squadron Epsilon 3 of the Vyr Hive pushed toward the colony settlement, adapting to the resistance patterns they had observed. They anticipated panicked colonists, retreating militia forces, or perhaps civilian surrender. Instead, they found a single figure standing in the middle of the ruined road. The human soldier wore matte black armor with silver latticework that pulsed faintly. A long, irregular scar ran down the soldier's jaw. Their stance was relaxed. Not fearful, not desperate. Patient. The Vyr adjusted their formation. The soldier cracked their neck. Legion Specialist Mara Vale, she said into her comm. Contact made. Above her, cloaked, within the smoke, the rest of her squad waited, 11 soldiers who had survived 90 years of conflict across 4 galaxies. Technically, they were centuries old, though slowed aging and regenerative augmentations meant they looked no older than 30. Mara lifted her hand and hummed a low tune, one the Vyr's sensors failed to categorize. Then she struck, for the Galactic Council, watching through a secure drone feed. The sudden burst of motion was almost incomprehensible. Mara moved faster than most species' eyes could track. She sprinted directly into the Vyr formation, slipping between their scanning beams, striking with superhuman precision. Every blow ruptured armor, shredded limbs, or crushed skull casing. Her squad descended seconds later, landing like meteors. Sergeant Rael Torres dual-wielded plasma axes that glowed white-hot. A single sweep carved 5 Vyr warriors apart. Behind him, Juno Hale, silent as a wraith, fired an electromagnetic sniper round through 3 Vyr skulls in a single shot. The soldiers fought like one organism, striking, retreating, shielding, advancing. Their movements felt choreographed, but not by any AI. It was instinct, refined by centuries of training. The council delegates stared, speechless. What are they? Whispered a Vekian elder. Ambassador Rennick folded his hands. Humanity, Middle, the Galactic Council watched in awe. The council chamber filled with the escalating shock of dozens of species. Impossible. They are too fast. Their neurological response speed is beyond legal augmentation limits. Rennick raised an eyebrow. Legal under council law. Earth never signed that treaty. Velthari looked horrified. You kept a super soldier program hidden? We kept a defense plan hidden, he corrected, because the council believed diplomacy alone could preserve peace. We knew better. Inside the holographic sphere, the battle intensified. Dozens of Legion squads struck simultaneously across Antara -4. Every strike was precise, every maneuver optimized. They coordinated without issuing verbal commands. Neural links transmitted intent seamlessly. Mara Vale leapt from a destroyed transport, landing atop a Vyr commander unit twice her size, her boots magnetized to its armor. With a swift movement, she plunged a pulse blade into the gap of its plating, detonating a burst of white energy that tore the creature apart. Cluster 7 neutralized, she reported calmly. A Vyr drop carrier descended overhead, but Specialist KG Voss, covered in tattoos that glowed when he activated his psionic boosters, threw a gravitic charge that dragged the ship sideways, slamming it into a ridge. The council chamber erupted again. A psionic? Psionics were banned. Rennick shrugged. We don't use the term psionic. We prefer enhanced neurokinetic resonance. It's the same thing, cried a Jeruvian scientist. For you, Rennick said with unsettling calm, not for us. Velthari crossed her arms. Ambassador, this is reckless endangerment. If the Vyr adapt to these abilities, they will, Rennick agreed. That is why the Legion never stops evolving. They train for adaptation, she hesitated. And if the Legion fails? He met her gaze, unflinching. Then we all die. But if they succeed, the galaxy survives. On Antara -4, the Vyr began to change tactics. The hive mind evaluated the Legion's combat capabilities and altered its units on the fly. Armor thickened, sensory arrays recalibrated, movement patterns shifted to unpredictable zigzags. A Vyr Titan, towering with 6-blade arms and reinforced thorax plating, emerged from the tree line. Its roar was a mechanical shriek. Torres exhaled. We've got a big one. Juno knelt, stabilizing her rifle. Weak point? Mara scanned the creature. Joint clusters behind the third plate. On it, the Titan lunged. Torres intercepted, meeting one blade with both axes. The impact cracked the ground beneath him. Juno fired a high-penetration shot at the indicated joint. The Titan staggered. Mara sprinted forward, leapt onto its back, and drove her pulse blade into the neural node. Titan collapsed, shaking the trees. In the council chamber, a Cyrix diplomat whispered, "They fight with fury, but also control. No detectable fear signatures." Rennick nodded. They were trained to accept death long ago. Fear wastes time. Discipline saves lives. Velthari leaned in. And how many of these Legion soldiers exist? Rennick exhaled slowly. 13,000. The chamber froze. That's all? Adorthan shouted. That's enough, Rennick replied. Over the next hours the battle spread. Streams of fire lit the forests, turning night to day. Legion forces dismantled Vyr infrastructure, shattered swarms and secured evacuation routes. But the Vyr did not retreat. They doubled their efforts. Their hive consciousness identified a single point of failure in the human strategy, leadership, and it targeted Mara Vale. Legion Command detected the shift instantly. Vyr units converged from multiple directions, not interested in the rest of her squad. Only her. Torres swore. They've figured out she's our tactical anchor. Then we adapt, Mara replied. Adapt how? Juno demanded. We stop fighting their battle, Mara said. We make them fight ours. She activated a beacon. Deep underground, dormant nanoforges lit up, releasing the Legion's final contingency, Project Wraithstorm. Hundreds of stealth drones emerged, nearly invisible, projecting holographic decoys of every Legion soldier. The battlefield filled with illusions, shadows of warriors sprinting, fighting, leaping. Vyr units hesitated, confused. And the real Legion struck in the chaos. In the council chamber, the delegates watched in mesmerized horror as the tide turned once more. Humans are unpredictable, admitted Avekian. They always have been, Velthari said softly. Rennick allowed himself the smallest smile. End. The turning point of the war. Hours passed. The Vyr swarms thinned. Their adaptive algorithms faltered under the incessant unpredictability of the Legion. But the hive mind had one final gambit. A colossal biomechanical seed ship, more a living organism than a machine, descended from orbit. Its impact shook the entire continent. The ground split, shockwaves toppled forests. The seed ship opened like a flower, releasing a monstrous core intelligence. A living fortress. It emitted a psychic pulse that crippled nearby electronics, drones, and even some soldiers' neural links. Legion squads staggered. Mara clutched her head. Can't. Focus. The Vyr Corps surged forward, targeting the colony center, and the council chamber erupted with panic. They're overwhelmed. The humans will die. Evacuate the remaining colonists. But Rennick did not move. Watch. Mara forced her eyes open. The psychic barrage hammered her mind like molten iron. She tasted blood. Her neural implants flickered. She could barely hear her squad shouting. Yet deep inside her chest, a rhythm pulsed, steady, grounded, unbreakable. You chose this, she reminded herself. You trained for this. You survived worse. She staggered to her feet. Torres caught her arm. Mara, you can't fight like this. No, she said, but we can fight together. She linked her neural network with her squad, something forbidden under normal circumstances due to the neural strain. 12 minds merged, strength pooled, pain divided. Vision sharpened. A unified consciousness emerged, the Legion collective. The Vyr Corps froze, briefly analyzing this unprecedented phenomenon. Then Mara spoke, not aloud but through the link. Let's end this. They moved as one. Torres hurled a gravitic axe with superhuman force, tearing open the Corps' outer shell. Juno fired through the exposed breach, aiming for its psionic node. Voss used his resonance to distort the psychic pulse, giving Mara the opening. She sprinted up the collapsing shell and plunged her blade directly into the Corps' heart. A blinding shockwave erupted. Silence followed. Then the seed ship collapsed inward, defeated. In the council chamber, the hologram dimmed. The delegates stared in awe as Antara 4's skies cleared, revealing dawn breaking across the horizon. Velthari placed a hand on her chest. It is over? Rennick nodded. The Vyr will retreat, reorganize, and reconsider their strategy. But today, yes, it is over. The chamber erupted. Not in panic, not in disbelief, but in thunderous applause unlike anything heard in centuries. Later, when the chaos subsided and the delegates prepared for emergency strategy sessions, Velthari approached Rennick privately. Your people surprised us. They tend to, he admitted, but this changes everything, she said. Humans possess strength the Council never understood. Rennick looked toward the hologram of Antara 4. Smoke clearing, soldiers helping civilians, dawn rising. We never wanted to be feared, he said, but we will not be underestimated again. Velthari bowed her head respectfully. What will the Legion do now? Rennick smiled softly. They'll do what they've always done, which is, he turned away, prepare for the next fight. And across the galaxy, species that once dismissed humans as fragile, volatile, or primitive whispered new words with newfound respect. Humanity has warriors. Warriors the galaxy will never forget.